So I'm about to start on my Disney College program pretty soon. I'm super excited to get down there and meet everybody. Today's video is going to be about tips on applying for the Disney College program. So if you're looking into applying for the Disney College program, definitely do it. Just go for it. So this video is basically going to be my tips and tricks on how to help you apply to the Disney College program. So my experience with applying to the Disney College program, I applied on the first day that the applications dropped. I researched like everything possible about the Disney College program. So a lot of videos are out there on YouTube other than this one of tips on applying. I would definitely watch other ones too to like gather like the most information that you can about applying. It definitely helps. One of the things that I was surprised about of videos was how many people posted their phone interview on YouTube. I didn't do that just because I didn't really want to have like my camera in my face when I was taking my phone interview. But speaking of phone interviews, I'm going to do a more in-depth video about the phone interview, which is the last step of your Disney College program, like application. So in this video, we're going to be talking about the initial application, the web-based interview, and the phone interview. First part of the application, my first tip would be to apply as early as you can. Just be on the lookout for when the application is. I signed up for the email to get like the email when the applications opened up, and I'm kind of glad that I didn't and that I was on social media kind of like looking around for it, because other people started posting like, oh, good luck to everybody that's applying today, and I was like, what, they opened up? Because I didn't get the email that they opened up until 2 weeks after like the applications opened up, and I applied, it was at the end of August. So definitely be on the lookout for when it opens up. So your initial application is basically going to be like your name and that kind of stuff. And then it's going to be like your work experience. So with work experience, this is when really you want to like list everything about like your job details. So let's say you want to apply. My top role was PhotoPass. So on the Disney website, when it says explore the roles, I looked at those and I kind of looked at the keywords of like what the job description is. And I would kind of blend those keywords into like job descriptions of jobs that I had. One of the description roles for PhotoPass is like being on your feet all the time, and like as a dance teacher, because I am a dance teacher, I'm on my feet like all the time, and I work retail, so I'm always on my feet, so that's definitely something I can handle. When it comes time on the application to check like which roles that you want, I would check as many as you can. That you want to do at least. I personally didn't check every single one. I didn't check lifeguard because I'm a terrible swimmer, so I knew I wouldn't be a great lifeguard. So I didn't check that one. And I didn't check custodial either. I have nothing against custodial, I just couldn't picture myself in that role. But those were just roles that I absolutely knew I didn't want to do. And then it's going to have you rank your roles from no interest, moderate interest, and high interest. Try to put higher interest for all of them. I ranked them obviously how I wanted them to be, but most of them were moderate interest, or most of them were high interest, and then some of them were moderate interest. And then after that, I would just kind of reread, make sure everything, double check everything, that you didn't miss anything out, especially on like the job or your work experience, because that is a big part that Disney does look at, because that is a big part of your initial application that they're going to look at to show that you had a job and that you're capable of doing the job descriptions of jobs that they have for you in the Disney College program, and that you're capable of doing that. Basically, the initial application is going to be the biggest part, because if you don't get past that, then that's kind of it. You'll try again when the next applications open up, because if you don't get past the initial application, then you won't be able to move on to the web-based interview. So that leads me to my next part. So the web-based interview is a part where it has you answer a bunch of questions, and they are all timed. You only have like a certain amount of like seconds to answer them, and they're like the bubble question that it's highly disagree, neutral, agree, strongly agree. I would answer the strongest ends. I wouldn't answer neutral, just because Disney wants to see that you have an opinion and that you have a strong opinion and that you know what you want. they don't want really someone unsure. If a guest comes up to you, you don't really want to be like, oh, yeah, I'm not really sure. Disney wants to see that you're a strong candidate for their program and that you're very capable of having this job and that you're going to be a great asset for them. But on these questions, Disney definitely does try to trip you up. They will ask you the same question but worded differently a few times actually. One of them that I got was about like being organized. They asked me that one a few times but worded a little differently just to try and trip you up. Don't exaggerate yourself. Like, you know yourself, but some of the questions are kind of common sense. Like, Disney's not going to want someone that's not organized, but at the same time, don't lie, because they'll catch you on those. Definitely, even though each question is timed, definitely take time, like carefully read it. There were a few questions that it actually timed me out, and I was like, oh my god, I'm not going to get a phone interview, but I ended up getting a phone interview. And then like the last section of the web-based interview, it asks you questions about specifically about the Disney College program. I got so excited that I just read, it was like, in the Disney College program, would you, and then it like had another thing underneath it, said like excited, not excited, or something like that, and I was like super excited. And I like just didn't actually read what it said. I was like, oh no. I was like, I did not read that right. But oh well. So just take time to read it carefully, but also it does time you, so just be aware of that. And then right after your web-based interview is when you find out if you got a phone interview, and then you will schedule your phone interview after that. So I'm going to give some general tips for the phone interview just because I want to do a more in-depth video for that, just because I feel that I have a lot of great tips on that. I felt really prepared for my phone interview. Like I said at the beginning, definitely look out there for people that have posted their phone interview. I personally didn't record my phone interview just because I didn't really want to have a camera in front of my face, and that's okay. Some of you might be like that too. So I watched the videos of the people that were accepted to see like how I could answer questions similar to them and how like their response was for like each of the questions. And then I also watched videos of phone interviews of kids that weren't accepted just to see how like they answered like the question. If I got that same question, how I could answer it differently. Research all the possible questions, and definitely from watching the other phone interviews you can get like an idea of what kind of questions that they're going to ask you. They're going to ask you what if questions for a lot of your roles, so I would be prepared. So personally, one of the roles that I wanted was attractions, and she asked me a question of, if you had a child come up to you that wasn't tall enough for a ride, what would you do? And so it's a lot of like what if questions like that. And like again with like the phone interview questions, I'm gonna do a more in-depth video pretty soon on like questions that I got and how like I responded and how I thought I did pretty good on my phone interview, because I felt like I was very prepared for my phone interview, and definitely researching a lot of questions helped me be more prepared. Even though I like typed out questions and like my answers of what I possibly have, I actually never really looked at my sheets that I made for myself. It just kind of helped me be more prepared and like answer quicker for those. Some people say dress up for your phone interview. I didn't. I mean, I wore Disney sweats. I was wearing a Disney sweatshirt and like my mini ears, and I felt pretty confident about my phone interview. If some of you out there are like that, where you need to dress up to feel confident, go for it. It definitely helps. I like being more comfortable, so I felt like I did a pretty good job. Another thing is smile. I know it sounds really cliche, but it really does help. Because at first I was like, smile. I'm like, what? But it really does help. The whole time that I was on my phone interview, I was smiling. My phone interview was over, like my mouth was like so dried out. And like my teeth, I was like, Another tip, a big tip would be at the beginning of your phone interview, write down your interviewer's name. Because that definitely helps. At the end, you can thank them like, oh, thank you, blah, 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 for taking the time to interview me. And write down some questions for them too. Don't just be like, oh, nope, I don't have any questions. Thanks, bye. Like I said again, in my more in-depth phone interview video, like I'll talk about like what I asked them and just that kind of stuff. But yeah, so those are some of my tips on applying for the Disney College program. If you have any other questions, let me know down below and I'd be more than happy to answer them. The phone interview video is going to be coming out pretty soon because applications are dropping, and I just think that would be super helpful because I know that how helpful a lot of these videos are for all of you that are very interested in doing the college program. And I definitely recommend it. Like, I'm so excited and I cannot wait to get down there. But anyways, thanks so much for watching. I hope this was really helpful. I know how stressful it can be on applying for the Disney College Grant program. I can't talk. But I wish all of you the best of luck applying. So I'll see you in the next video.